It doesn't mean that Hillary would have been a good choice.
No.
Either. She was a terrible choice. She's a corrupt politician, one of the most unlikable people that's ever run for office.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
They were trying to get people supporting her just because she's a woman. This is going to be her history. You know, women, ladies, I stand with her. So there's all these women that have this blind allegiance towards this career politician. It's completely full of shit. She's been full of shit forever.
They stole his first term as president. These absolute liars who run around trying to act like they're the protectors of democracy completely ruined it, tried to undermine it at every turn and at the highest levels with lies, with out and out lies that were really serious, and changed foreign policy and changed the course of history in this country in Trump's presidency. And there must be accountability. There has to be actual criminal accountability for those who lied. And I can't wait to see this administration do it.
When two smart people like Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly work together, what happens isn't a debate. It's like a political thunderstorm. Their combined smartness and accuracy ripped through the carefully made image of an experienced power player, leaving no protection untouched. Each joke was planned, each punchline was full of truth, turning the takedown into both a show and an eye-opener. By the end, the stage wasn't just cleared, it was burned, and the audience knew they just saw history being rewritten right.
I don't want Hillary Clinton to win. I think she's ridiculously awful, too.
I think a lot of people really disliked Hillary.
They should. She got a lot of money from banks. She's completely full of. She didn't like gay marriage till 2013. She didn't agree with gay marriage till 2013. Like, what are you, a dinosaur?
Yeah.
What the f is wrong with you? Why would you even care? Because she's not real. She didn't care. She just was doing what she thought would support her position politically.
Out there saying, I was right about everything and celebrating his conviction. She is the original felon. She's the original election denier.
Yes.
She's the original felon.
Spent, and the entire Democrat machine and all of mainstream media spent 4 years of this guy's presidency saying he was an illegitimate president. You were allowed to question elections. We can do the laundry list.
If you're enjoying this video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Hillary Clinton's public image has gotten old, like a carton of milk left out during a hot July day. Every time someone tries to open it, the smell just gets worse. Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly didn't just point it out on live TV, they practically dug like archaeologists, peeling back layers of dust, denial, and failed political theater to show that under all those years of carefully crafted lies, there's the political version of an empty wine box. You know, the kind that still drips a little, but only bitter stuff comes out.
So, just for the record, and our audience knows this, and you guys, just for the record, let's play Top 10.
I do think that he knows that he's an illegitimate president. I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows that there were a bunch of different reasons why the election turned out the way it did. And as I've been telling candidates who have come to see me, you can run the best campaign, you can even become the nominee, and you can have the election stolen from you.
Rogan went first, saying that for someone who spent decades selling herself as someone who helps women, Hillary somehow gives off the energy of a middle manager who steals credit for other people's work, then holds a seminar on empowerment while drinking $400 champagne bought with the company credit card. It's not even that she's unpopular. Being unpopular would require people to care enough to dislike her. No, Hillary has reached that special level where just mentioning her name makes voters' eyes glaze over like they've been hit with a sleeping dart.
I'm sure the Clintons were there at some point.
Bill.
Bill is so nice.
What? Was he?
He's so nice. Like when I met them,
charming.
he is, and he's actually still kind of good looking. Like even for an older dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? He's still so good looking, and she's just so miserable.
Well, she was publicly humiliated, and she thought that her big retribution would become president. Become president,
Sure.
and then that would be it. All water under the bridge. I'm a strong woman. I'm running this country. And then America was like,
Megyn Kelly then added to the roast like a chef icing a particularly mean cake. She reminded the world of the Hillary Clinton routine, a cycle of reinventing herself so constant it could be used to make renewable energy. Every few years, she comes out with a fresh slogan, a slightly new haircut, and an updated batch of talking points, only for it all to melt into the same stale formula: scripted caring, fake laughs, and the political charm of a tax audit. Kelly wasn't attacking her gender, her experience, or even her ambition. She was taking aim at her chronic and
Let's spend a minute on Hillary Clinton.
Speaking of evil,
Yeah, exactly. Who amazingly, has been out there celebrating the Trump conviction. Now, we played this the other day, but I'll show it to the audience if you missed it. Top 3. Here she was after he was convicted at a speech.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
The problem with Hillary isn't just her political baggage, it's that she drags it around in a suitcase so huge it needs its own zip code. From Whitewater to Benghazi to those now legendary missing emails. It's like she's starring in a decade's Netflix series called How Not to Make This Go Away. Rogan made fun of her obsession with blaming everyone else for her losses, comparing it to that one friend who can't keep a relationship and insists every single breakup was because they just couldn't handle me. The reality, sometimes maybe people just don't like you.
Even Hillary is now talking differently about other people. She said about Bernie, nobody liked him. She would have never said that. Before Donald Trump, she would have never uttered those words. His victory over her is deep in her DNA now. She's starting to exhibit some of his patterns. By saying nobody ever liked him, how could you say that? Millions of people like him. They're voting for him. Millions of people. To say nobody liked him. Hashtag I like Bernie start popping up. Like, that behavior is a direct reaction to her getting pounded on by Donald Trump.
Kelly didn't just make fun of the scandals, she roasted the drama around them. Hillary's defenses have always been wrapped in a weird mix of over-preparing and raw entitlement. Like a valedictorian who's angry that the class didn't vote her most popular when she speaks, it's never the natural, from-the-heart authenticity that sticks in people's minds. It's more like watching a computer program try to copy human warmth, but glitch halfway through and start quoting polling data. Then came the live TV moment when both Rogan and Kelly focused on one of her greatest hits, the never-ending blame game for 2016. In Hillary's world, the list of reasons she lost is longer than the Cheesecake Factory menu. Russians, sexism, the FBI, the media, rogue Facebook memes, possibly bad weather in Michigan. At this point, it should have made her think about herself. Instead, Hillary acted like the universe itself had plotted against her personally, as if she were the tragic main character in an epic political drama no one else.
Speaking of Hillary, her op-ed, which is really pretty spectacular in the New York Times. First of all, my team just showed me this. Have you seen the cover for her new book? Something lost, something gained. Gained is a Freudian slip. And I like the amount of retouching on this face I haven't seen since, Joan Rivers had her 15th surgery. God love Joan. I don't know what she's trying to be with this soft focus. My executive producer, Steve Krakauer, is like, she looks nothing.
Kelly backed that up with her signature icy precision, noting that real political leaders take losses on the chin, learn, adapt, and come back stronger. Hillary took hers, packaged it into a speaking tour, and charged audiences hundreds of dollars to watch her explain why it wasn't her fault. It's like the political version of burning your own house down, and then selling tickets to the smoking ruins. And then they hit the personality problem, something that no amount of rebranding, consultants, or focus groups has been able to fix. Rogan joked about how Hillary tries to make herself seem human with awkward jokes and stories that somehow make her seem even less relatable. Like a politician's version of How Do You Do, Fellow Kids. The infamous photo ops of her just relaxing are so stiff they could be used to teach mannequins posture. Power for power's sake isn't an inspiring message, especially when you've been hovering around the Oval Office for decades like a cat waiting to pounce on a warm chair.
Joe and Kamala can win by 3 million votes and still lose. Take it from me. So we need numbers overwhelming so Trump can't sneak or steal his way to victory.
Okay. So why can't a smart guy like Marr know that? I mean, he genuinely seemed surprised to hear this from me. He doesn't, I think it's just his true hatred for.
The roast didn't stop at her politics. It wandered into her post-political career, where Hillary has managed to become a kind of roaming political ghost, popping up every few months to give an opinion no one asked for on issues she hasn't been relevant to in years. Rogan called it out as the celebrity politician crossover nobody wanted, like a bad reunion tour where the band plays none of the old hits.
Pull it up, because it's bananas.
Can fact check him in real time. Last time at the first debate, we had millions of people fact-checking, so I expect we'll have millions more fact-checking because, it's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
It's not that the American public doesn't respect her resume. They do, but a resume is not a personality, and it's definitely not a movement. Rogan compared it to a professional fighter with an impressive record who just can't win the big matches anymore. The skills are there, but the spark is gone. Kelly, ever the sharp operator, reminded the audience that politics is about momentum, not just survival. And Hillary has been treading political water so long that even the lifeguards have stopped watching. The beauty of the live TV takedown was that it wasn't mean-spirited for the sake of being mean. It was the kind of roast born out of exhaustion. Decades of watching the same patterns repeat, the same canned lines, the same excuses, the same inability to evolve in a political environment that changes faster than ever. And just when it seemed like Rogan and Kelly had squeezed every drop of sarcasm from the subject, they started hinting at the real elephant in the room: Hillary's quiet, persistent positioning for yet another run.
I can't imagine being in a situation where I'm on television and I'm saying things that are so removed from the truth. I can't wrap my head around that.
Well, Hillary did the same thing. People forget this. She did talk about a firefight that she was involved.
I was under sniper fire, and the worst thing about that people didn't give a shit about. She said when she was in Bosnia she was under sniper fire. It's like, you're throwing the Secret Service under the bus. What kind of Secret Service is going to let the First Lady run under sniper fire?
I remember landing under sniper fire. There was supposed to be some kind of a greeting ceremony at the airport, but instead we just ran with our heads down to get it.
It's the political horror movie sequel nobody asked for, but everyone knows is coming. Like clockwork, the media will speculate, she'll give some coy answers, and suddenly, she's back on the talk show circuit, casually dropping hints about unfinished business. Rogan grinned at the thought of it. Megyn shook her head, and the audience could practically hear the collective groan of a nation bracing itself for déjà vu. What's wild is that Hillary truly seems to believe there's still a path for her, despite 2 failed runs and a political brand that's less hope and change and more please clap. Kelly summed it up perfectly without saying a word. Just that knowing smirk that says, "You've had your shot twice." The voters spoke, and each time she does, the same cycle will begin again. The think pieces, the debates, the inevitable Rogan and Kelly roasts. Because as much
The day of the election, I think they had some crazy odds of Hillary winning. It was like in the 90%. We watched it from the Comedy Store. We did a podcast from the Comedy Store called the End of the World podcast. What was most fascinating was the podcast was over, and then we all went to the bar, and on the television, Jake Tapper was just seriously bummed out, talking about Trump winning all these different states.
And it is hard to think of a political comeback that is actually more significant than this one. I'm tempted to say Richard Nixon, because that really falls short of what Donald Trump has achieved.
I think for a lot of people, that was the end of trust.
the roast might have ended when the cameras cut, but the story is far from over. The moment she hints at her next move, the gloves will come off again, and the political comedy circuit will have fresh material for months. Because Hillary Clinton, for all her political instincts, has one fatal flaw. She can't help but believe she's the one person who can walk into the same burning building twice and somehow convince everyone it's a fresh start. And when that day comes, Rogan and Kelly will be ready, notes in hand, jokes sharpened, waiting to remind her and the world that sometimes the most epic political takedowns don't happen behind closed doors. They happen live in front of millions with the kind of brutal honesty that no amount of spin can soften. And judging by how this roast landed, and like every sitcom character who refuses to grow, she's destined to be roasted again and again and again. This wasn't the finale. Not by a long shot.
Don't buy their narrative. When you find out that they lied about Russiagate.
That was the beginning of the end.
They've been coming after me again lately, in case you might have noticed. It's funny, the more trouble Trump gets into, the wilder the charges and conspiracy theories about me seem to get.
Steele dossier is your whole thing.
Yeah.
That was really the undoing of a lot of cable news, I think.
They thought they could get away with it because they have gotten away with it before, which makes you think, how many of the stories, other than the ones we know about, like the weapons of mass destruction, how many of the stories were bullshit?
It's almost poetic how Hillary can talk about political transparency while operating with the subtlety of a bulldozer in a library. Every move, every calculated grin feels like part of a long-running chess game where she's the only one who insists the rules change mid-match. Joe Rogan's smirk practically sold the moment, while Megyn Kelly's precision tore through the pretense like a hot knife through margarine. The crowd wasn't just entertained, they were witnessing a masterclass in dismantling a story. By the time they were done, the aura of being untouchable had disappeared. It was the sound of a chapter closing, the kind of ending that promises an even juicier sequel. Because if history's taught us anything, it's that Hillary's story never ends quietly.